Chief Meteorologist Dan Cianca joining us now because, well, I guess we're not out of the woods yet. Is that right?
Yeah, no, we got more rain and wind on the way. You know, I was just thinking about the first time I ever went to Yosemite, it was probably back in 2015, 2016. Had been in drought for a couple of years, and it was like August, and most of the waterfalls were completely dry. But this is going to be a good waterfall summer in Yosemite.
Don't go chasing those.
No, go chasing waterfalls. Just stick to the rivers and the lakes. Okay, I'm done. Domenico's on the wharf, a live look. Hey, we had actually had a little snack at Domenico's this afternoon as we were heading around the wharf, doing a little walking around Monterey and Pacific Grove this afternoon. Tried to get out and stretch our legs. It was St. Patty's Day yesterday, you know. There was Whale Fest going on at the Monterey. I stood in line for a long time. Thought there might be some whale-flavored ice cream. That's what they do at fests, right? They have whatever the fest is that flavor. I was like, I'll try a whale-flavored ice cream. That sounds good. They didn't have any. It was just like some conservation talk. And then I was like looking around for Monterey whale fries. Apparently that's not even a thing. Kind of bummed out. What kind of Mickey Mouse operation are we talking about here? Either way, it was a nice day. It's a little cloudy in Monterey today, but the temperatures were nice. But we've got some rain moving in, and it will be with us through the overnight hours. So when you wake up tomorrow on your Sunday, heading to maybe go on a hike, maybe heading to service, maybe doing some shopping, whatever you do on a Sunday. Not football, because it's out of season, but yeah, we got rain moving. Here's the storm system. It's kind of up here to the north. We're kind of catching the tail end of it, but it's also pulling in some moisture from this stream that's blasting across the Pacific. It's the subtropical jet, plus also an atmospheric river, which, by the way, another system back in this area will develop and head right toward us on the coast on Tuesday. That one packing some gusty winds. Well, the system overnight is going to have some wind as well, but this one probably some stronger winds and heavier rain. So we got a couple systems on the way. Let's go through what's happening overnight first. Head to Futurecast. Mostly light precipitation here for the next several hours as the initial shield of rain comes through. Winds will slowly pick up out of the south overnight. They're going to get gusty at times, especially on the exposed coast, the ridges. And I'm actually seeing some gusty winds in our valleys, our northeast or northwest to southeast oriented valleys. So the Salinas Valley, you might get some gusty winds tomorrow morning between around dawn and noon. We could actually see some isolated power outages again tomorrow. I know I hate talking about that, but the ground's still very wet. It's such a weird thing because we have all these drought-stressed trees, right, from when it was not raining for 4 years straight. And then we have a flood, pretty much. Now, the ground is completely wet, but the trees aren't doing that well, so they just fall over when the wind blows. We've been seeing all sorts of problems with that. You know, and that's, the wind tomorrow isn't going to be extraordinary by any means, not severe. There isn't even an alert in place for it, but doesn't mean we can't lose a few trees tomorrow because of that wind. So keep that in mind. We'll be a little gusty tomorrow morning, particularly between around 6 a.m. and noon. I think that's when we'll see the most of the rain and most of the wind. After that, things will kind of die down a little bit. So speaking of 6 a.m., let's start things off there. We got some rain moving through, gusty winds coming through. Showers will start tapering off, I think, as we head into the afternoon hours. So most of this rain is going to come through overnight. And then it should start dying down in the afternoon. The winds will be the strongest also early in the day, also start tapering off in the afternoon as well. But as I mentioned, it could get gusty at times. And even tomorrow evening, we're still going to stay mostly cloudy. We'll still have some drizzly, sprinkly stuff out there. So even though most of the precipit's going to come through overnight and tomorrow morning, we may still have a little bit of activity tomorrow evening across the region, keeping those roads damp and slippery. Total precipitation with this system, 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch. Not really any major flood concerns outside of wet roadways and ongoing issues, but it's not going to make the rivers budge all that much, nor will we see any major issues on our streams. Later in the week, in that Tuesday time frame, we'll have some bumps in our streams. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Temperatures tomorrow a little bit cooler, and actually I hope you enjoyed the weather today and yesterday and St. Patty's Day, because those will be the warmest temperatures you're going to see for the next week. So we look at Santa Cruz, 57 tomorrow, 50s up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Over to the east, here's what we got going on. Watsonville, 59. May find a few 60s tomorrow. Salinas, Hollister, Gilroy. Marina, Fogtown, USA, looking at 61 degrees. 62 in Monterey tomorrow in Seaside with a southerly wind just descending down the hill there, kind of It's Victor's looking at me funny. It's
like a battle.
descending down the hill. It's compressional warming, Victor. It's a thing that happens. There's the Salinas Valley. We've got some 60s in there too. It looks like we got a number mix-up because Gonzales should also be 62 tomorrow, not 58 degrees. But either way, not a bad day tomorrow. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. I mentioned another storm coming, so a few sprinkles may linger into Monday morning, more like some drizzle. Then we're partly cloudy but cool and breezy Monday. Tuesday, mostly cloudy, a little stormy it looks like. Potentially some heavy rain coming in. I don't think we're going to see any major problems, but we certainly could see some minor flooding on Tuesday. It'll also be windy, and there's a closed area of low pressure that is going to come ashore with this storm. Some of those models are bringing it very close to us, which would increase the wind. So I'm keeping a close eye on that because that could mean some very gusty winds for us. Beyond that, a few showers lingering into Wednesday, and a very cold weather pattern sets up with highs staying in the 50s. A weather system passing Friday may be cold enough to bring some snow to our mountains once again. Inland areas also dealing with those cold. It's not going to be a warm week. We're back in those. I mean, we're well below normal. Look at our normal high this time of year for our inland city should be around 68 degrees, and we are nowhere near that for the next week or two, probably, Victor. So please stay tuned to the forecast. That Tuesday system is going to be interesting. We'll have some updates tomorrow night and on Monday, so you know exactly what to expect.